Okay, as I said, I'm going to do a post-shooting commentary here on French Gras and what I found. This is the third type of reload that I've done for the Gras. I've done one with a 446 bullet, I've done one with the French guy's designed healed bullet, and in an 1874 I can get halfway decent results. But there is a problem, even with the healed bullet, there's lead. Now, the other end, if anybody was listening to any of my videos about these guns, if you have a variation that is an 1866/74, depending, now this is the tricky part, I guess there were two or three different ways of modifying the old chassis to the Gras cartridge. One was to insert a chamber sleeve, re-sleeve the barrel as is, which has a constriction point in there because that's the way a paper patch bullet works. It is undersized. So the problem people have if you're trying to go with a bullet that is close to the groove diameter, there's a point in there that the constriction throws that all off, okay? So, all of those other loads did not work well in a gun. That's why I went to what would be the most original, if any, is a paper patch bullet that is way undersized with black powder, okay? And how that works, okay, is the bullet's undersized, the paper patch is what is engaging the rifling, barely engaging the rifling. The lead bullet is undersized. Actually, the bare lead bullet will just about slip down into the bore. So what is engaging the rifling is the paper patch, okay? And I will show you what I use and the sizes and that. It's way undersized. The black powder must be used, and you must use a case that can hold the capacity. It's anywhere from 78.5 to 81 grains of black powder. And you have to compress it a little, no matter what. Okay? So, it's kind of critical. This load, you have to use a certain case, a certain method, and in the end, the results I got were fairly good, as you've seen in the other two videos. You know, the one gun that I was really interested in getting to work was this 6674. Okay? I finally got some decent results with it, and it was good. But what happened was, first 5 or 6 rounds, everything was good. I cleaned the barrel out, and then the second string, which was I think 6 or 7 rounds, this is where I got, the group started opening up, and there were problems. And what I'm believing is, and there was some leading in here. Now the leading could have been left over from the smokeless powder loads, but when I went and brushed out the range, there was a lot of stuff, a lot of crud and debris came out of the gun, which didn't happen on the others. So that leads me to believe that something in my paper patching, either I had an air bubble or a lump, or it wasn't tight around the bullet. The paper patches tore and exposed the lead bullet and created a problem, got some lead in there. This is the problem with this load. You must perfect the paper patching and get it right. Okay, and I'll go over it when I tell you how I did it. There is no lube, there is no lube cookie, there is no cardboard wad. There is just a lead bullet that I soak the patch, and I take the patch and wrap it while it is wet in Red Rooster bullet lube. I wrap the wet patch, let them dry, and that's the only lubrication that I'm using on this bullet. Because ideally, the lead part of the bullet shouldn't really be engaging the barrel whatsoever. Okay? So I ran into some problems. It's tricky to get this right, and also to crimp. Crimping this is critical because if you crimp it or roll crimp it or bite into the case, or when you're seating the bullet, if you catch the paper jacket and tear it, will also create this problem. So that is something you have to bear in mind. Now, we'll go on to the question. I'll show you what I used. Okay, before we start here with this, I just want to make one thing clear. Like I stated in my other video a few weeks ago, I will not be making a video on how I reloaded this. I will not be making any ammunition, projectiles, or Firearm brass or nothing for sale or to help anyone out. So don't ask. I'm just going to show you what I used and why. Okay, first thing also is you have to have a set of full length. I use full length resizing dies, a die set. And it's some foreign made one I got, cost well over $200, and I don't believe they're made anymore, so you cannot get the die set that I have. So just leave it at that. Alright, for brass, I use Bertram brass. And the reason I went with Bertram brass is probably it is the closest, if not exactly dimensionally correct, length, head, base, everything else. And 80 grains of black powder fits in there, and I compress it about 1/8 of an inch, okay, with the bullet. No lube cookie, no cardboard wad or anything. It's just a paper patch bullet down on the powder. What I use for powder. See, and the confusing thing about the Gras, there's two types of ammo. The original ammo and then the second type of ammo they made. One says it uses so much of 1/2, then they said 2/2, and this and that. And you're going to get different things when you do the research. So, like I said, I've calculated from several sources anywhere from 78.5 to 81 and some in there. So I put 80 grains of Goix, Einsford or whatever, 1.5. Okay, that's what was in there, 80 grains. The 80 grains went down, tapped the case, get it to settle. Now, paper patch bullet. What I used was from Buffalo Arms. It is a 432 thousandths. Again, 432 thousandths diameter, 370 grain swage paper patch, pure lead with a cup base. Okay, that's the bullet I used. That's what it looks like. Your typical paper patch bullet with a cup base. They swage it in a press with lead wire and stamp it out. It's got a little flat nose on there. And as you see, this will glide in and out fairly easily of this case. As is. I got a little scrape, so you know, again, some reloading techniques. Now, as for the paper patch, okay, this in itself is a skill. You have to calculate stuff and do it. And then what I like about the hollow bases is you just wad up the excess patch in the cup. And then this is just pressed down, and I use the seating die to compress the black powder 1/8 of an inch. That's it. This is covered with Red Rooster bullet lube, which is for paper patch bullets. Okay? And I believe part of my problem, this one isn't quite correct, and this other one I held back. If you look, it's wrinkled. It's not on there tight. So probably I had some sort of defect in my paper patch, and that's what's done it. And if you go with Bertram brass, seat this thing down to 3 inches exactly, which Cartridges of the World said is the length. You get an 1/8 inch compression on the black powder, and the results you've seen in the videos. That's what I used. Okay, so that should answer all your questions about the ammo. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to go on to some other questions. I had fielded here, and we'll also discuss that. Okay, question. Gun in 95% condition, sling, bayonet, what's it worth? Okay, now I've told you guys in the past, and I'm going to tell you again one more time. I do not like, and I cannot price guns. Okay? First thing you should do is find this book here and get it as a guide. Okay? And the prices in here, okay, probably are not going to marry up to what you see these things being offered for or the going rate. Alright? And the problem I have with gun shows, flea market, and everything, and it doesn't matter which gun. Say you take the Gras. I got these Gras. They got beautiful mint bores in them. They're mismatched. They're a little worn. They're not in, 95% condition. Say I want to sell one, and I ask $700. Okay, and I'll get people that'll tell me, ooh, that's a good deal. I'll get people walk up, start insulting me and raising hell, telling me the gun's only worth $200, and I will go and see a gun in worse shape that is priced for $1,000. Okay, it's up to you to decide if the condition, the gun, and if it's what you want and what you want to do and how much money you want to spend for it. Okay. I can't answer that. I can't give you any advice on prices and that because everyone has a different idea on what is a good price. Okay? Actually, on the gun broker, there's a gun with the bolt missing, kind of beat up with parts and that, and they want $500 for it. I don't even know the condition of the bore. I bought those guns. Both of them have a mint bore. It's perfect. Okay? Shiny, clean, with the intent of testing ammunition. That is why I bought them. I did not buy them because I wanted a matching, complete, 95% example that will accrue value over time. I bought those two guns with the specific intention of using them to design ammunition. Okay, and I can't even remember what I paid for them. At the time I thought I paid too much for them. But now when I see them listed for, God only knows what they're worth. So, can't answer that question. Next question. Is it a good deer rifle? Well, I don't hunt anything, deer, whatever. In my true personal opinion, there are an awful lot of guns out there that are less expensive, more practical, shoots modern ammunition, and would be easier to become proficient with to where you can hunt well with it. Plus, it would probably cost less than a Gras. Okay? Both the gun itself and the ammunition. And again, hunting, you're dragging something through the woods. Okay? You do not want to do this with a collector's item. So, not to be an ass about this, I can't answer that. And I get more than once. I get people ask me, will a cast bullet and an Italian Vetterli Carcano from World War I kill a deer? I don't know. Okay? But that question is asked a lot. So what I suggest you do is you get yourself a copy of Cartridges of the World. Okay? And in there, I guess it is a common question, if you review military cartridges, in here this guy will tell you to a degree what it's comparable to, alright, and will even give suggestions on what kind of game can be used in it. He does mention that in here. And he does tell you what these obsolete cartridges are comparable to. And he tells you modern variations, medium-sized game or whatever. It is all in here. It is probably your best source if you want to know, is it good for hunting or what the cartridge energy levels in that are equal to, get a copy of this. And that will answer your questions there. Okay? Okay, I made this video as a post-shooting video to answer a lot of questions. Because I know people are going to ask, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like I said, I really don't have the time to sit there and answer these individual questions. And also, I would like it if you would watch the videos completely, okay? Because the reason is, kind of losing my patience. I take the time to make these videos, alright? And yes, they can be long because I want to give a detailed explanation of everything. But like in prepping the rifles and putting some natural lube on the bore, sure enough, at the very end of the video, I explained that you can use this process with any black powder cartridge gun, but yet I still get comments going, can I use this on a 4570? Okay, obviously you did not watch it to the very end of the video. Alright? So, it should answer your questions, and not to be being mean or anything, but I made this video to explain a bunch of questions about the Gras. Like I said, I'm not going to be making any videos showing you how I load the ammo. Okay, I don't know when I will load up some more ammo and go out and shoot these. It could be a couple weeks, a couple months, a couple years, I don't know. Okay, whenever I get around to it or I get the time. I got a lot going on. I got a lot of things I'm doing that have nothing to do with the shooting sports or YouTube. So, I hope that answers everybody's questions and gives you an idea of what I'm doing and how I'm progressing with this. Okay, and another thing, I went and looked, there are an awful lot of reloading videos out there that other people have made that give excellent instructions and details on what they have done. Okay, so there's a lot of information out there if you look around. Alright, thank you.